So what happens is that where you are on the trade or on a trade or even as on the charts, let me use the charts at that point is very, very important, it's very crucial. Let me say you were on a trade, okay? You were on a trade and then the news is coming up, okay? So what you can do at that point is
Military takeovers in West
to
Africa, rising concern that democracy is increasing.
all right. So I was saying, so when we go over this economic calendar and then it shows you the time where things are expected to happen in the market. So what you do is, if you're on a trade at that point, you can go ahead and put your trade on break even. Okay, you can go ahead and break even your trade, or if you had a trade you want to take at that time, you can just sit out and wait for the market to do what to finish the first move that he wants to do, from the news, and then you can join the retracement. Okay. After the first major move, you can now join the retracement, or you or you just stay away from the trade at that point in time. And then and then of course there's the last option for people that have just accepted whatever thing is going to come out from that trade or from that news. Is put it like that, because every news that's coming up, we don't know what will happen. Is going to go down or is going to go up. So what we can always do at that point is to save ourselves. Okay, put ourselves first. Now, if you follow that the people that want to stay in the trade, no matter what the news has to say, that's fine. Sometimes I leave my trades open. I don't have any problem with it. Okay, I've accepted whatever risk is coming out from that. Sometimes it can be in your favor, of course. Sometimes it can go against you. So what I'm trying to say is that if you are in good profit, you can always secure some profit or break even your trade, because a good trade can always turn to a loss from all these news release and all of that. So you can save yourself and then if you have a setup that is trying to form at that time, what you can do is you can either take the trade. Of course, that's for the people that are okay with taking risk. No problem with that. You can take the trade, or you can just sit out. Let the news simmer down. When the effect of the news simmers down, you now join. Is that okay? Now, I understand that there are people that are purely fundamental traders. Yes, they only come into the market when it's time for news, and that's fine. Like I say, everything that works for you as a person, you should stick to it. Is that okay? So what am I trying to say in essence? When the news like this yesterday, of course, we expected a lot of, you can see now what happened. All these red folder news. It means something. It means high impact in the market. So we expected this kind of things to happen. So what you do is check the time, note it, and then be following up your trade to know what you do. That is where trade management comes in. So if you decide that, okay, whatever thing happens in this trade, I'm going to keep my trade open. All right, I keep my trade open. I keep my normal stop loss the way I was keeping it before, and my normal take profit the way I was keeping it before. No problem. That's up to you. But if you want to manage it, if you want to further manage it to, eliminate some risk. Maybe if you were in a loss or the trade has not yet opened, to prevent maybe slippage or all of that, you can stay away from the trade. If you're in profit, you can take some profit and break even. Or if you want to just break even, you can break even. Okay, so our trades on USD card, this USD card, you were able to, of course, you know that we did 1 hour. We did 1 hour before the news. So at least we should have broken even. It's not, these are the kind of trades that you should not be giving back to the market. Is that okay? So that's USD card. But our AUD CHF trade, that one hits stop loss. Okay, that one hits stop loss and it's fine. It was a good trade. It just happened you know, to hit stop loss, and that's fine. But at least we should not be over leveraging and then trying to take everything at the same time, and then we end up, trading our accounts away. Is that okay? So you see, we are very, very transparent here. We want to tell you the truth the way it is. ADCHF trade, we're looking at a buy. We've been very bullish on this guy. We're looking at a buy to continue. Okay? We're looking at a buy to continue at somewhere here. You see that we had a sweep of We had a sweep of liquidity here and a new expansion. So definitely this is always the kind of trade that we used to trade. And this is how we used to trade. So if one time the trade does not go well, there's no problem. It's all good. Okay. And then of course you should have, you see USD card on the other hand did 1 hour and then even gave us another push, 1.5 hour rather. Even gave us another push. We're expecting a push up again from this point. All right. And then so we did this. And then after this point, this was when evening time, towards the evening news release, that's when all this one started happening. And then you can see the strong impulse that it used to trade back down. Is that okay? So this is how you prevent yourself from taking or from giving back to the market. Is that okay? This is how you prevent yourself from giving back to the market. So this kind of trade should have been properly managed so that you don't end up losing it. So at least you can break even your trade or you can hold some profit. Every time we take it, let me say I have something like this, okay? And I'm taking a trade from here, right? The most recent high is always your TP1, okay? The most recent high is always your TP1 while waiting for the overall draw liquidity to be reached. Is that okay? The most recent high or most recent low in a sell situation is always your TP1. There's something like this. All right. When price comes back to this place and starts selling, this is your first TP. Is that okay? Before all other drawn liquidities that were down are not yet reached. So at this first TPs, okay, you should have already, because this thing is very, very unpredictable. You can hold something, you can break even if you don't want to take partials. Okay. So that is where your management comes in as a trader and as a person, so that if you like what you see, you can always take your profit. If you see one to hold, because I know some of us we can always hold our trade. That's fine. You can break even and hold your trade and accept the outcome. So the bottom line of trading is two things, right? Manage your risk and accept the outcome. Is that okay? Those are what you can do is to manage your risk. That is where you have power. Okay. And then what you don't have power over is the outcome. Okay. That is where your management helps you to keep you afloat, whether you were buying or selling. That's your management is what will help you to keep you afloat, keep your accounts in an intact situation. Not the one that you have a $1,000 account that you're putting a whole $700 risk on the line for one trade. Is that okay? This is not how to do it. But I mean, it depends. It depends on your own threshold. If this is what you want to do, you maybe have a lot of money and then this is what you want to do, that's fine. Is that okay? But you can always manage your risk and of course, trade responsibly. Basically, we're not trying to raise gamblers here. We're not trying to, encourage gambling here. That's wrong. Okay? Always manage and trade with what you are okay with because of the nature of the markets. And then, of course, it's also going to the end of the year. So the market can become very, very funny this period. Okay. The BFIs will be closing for the year anytime from now. And then you know what that will affect me in the terms of volatility. Because we need all this volatility to move the market. The market can become slower, a little bit choppy. Your price action may be shaky. But don't worry, because it's just the end of year. When we cross over to 2026, everything will stabilize. And then, of course, we'll keep catching our trades. We have been catching trades all through the year. So, of course, we'll just continue from where we stopped. Is that okay? All right. So let's see one or two things, and then we keep it going. All right. Let me see Bitcoin. Bitcoin has come into. We're supposed to buy Bitcoin. So at this point now, Bitcoin has run into something here. If you check the weekly time frame, you see that we are sweeping the previous week's high here. Sorry. We are sweeping the previous week high at this point, okay? And we are rejecting it. See, we are sweeping it and we are rejecting it with the view to come for this low. Is that okay? And then if you go to the daily time frame now, we're also taking this high. All right, taking this high. There is this, as you can call it, an order block that is price reacting off from this point. Is that okay? This guy is serving as the inducement. So since this is a daily order block, we can check what the H4 is saying. Now, H4 has given us a very nice expansion. Okay, H4 has given us a very nice expansion at this point. So what are we waiting for price to do? We want price to trade back into this area because this is a nice fair value gap area. right? And then I can also pinpoint some key level behavior that's happened. Let me see. Okay, something like this. Okay, so this area is interesting now for us. Okay, I like how price was here, and then it has now taken this place again for the downside. So we're interested in price coming here and giving us something to trade. Is that okay? We avoided a loss. We avoided a loss on USD CHF yesterday. I don't know if you checked your chart. We avoided a loss on USD CHF. You know that, remember that trade I said I was about to call a buy. I was actually that trade actually took that trade off on the call. I had the trade open and then I took the trade off immediately because of what happened. We're supposed to have a buy from here. Knowing when to enter is good. Also, knowing when to not enter is also very, very good. Is that okay? So this was the zone that we were looking at that yesterday. But when we came into the chart, we saw something on the weekly. Weekly was currently taking this high here like this and rejecting it. So that's at that point in time, the buy that we're looking at became very, very shaky. Is that okay? You know, we're looking at this one to come for this guy. But when I came into class that day, I now saw that this one was rejecting to come for this low. Can you see? And see the way price has delivered that price action. So we would have taken a very, very how do I call it? A very pointless stop loss at this point. Is that okay? See the way we are very, very flexible. Very, very flexible. As at the time I opened this chart in class yesterday, I was already looking for a buy because price was already around that entry area. I was really looking for us to buy. But coming now to the weekly time frame, I saw that it was clear that there was a problem with that trade from here because of the way price was sweeping this high. So that at that point, that buy became problematic. So we're now expecting that price should even do what? Price should even come all the way back down to this low. And you see the way we're able to prevent ourselves from losing aimlessly. And then remember what we're also looking at on the monthly. That monthly was also sweeping the previous month high to come down. The only reason why I was looking for a buy is because the weekly information was still giving me expansion to the upside and a daily and a weekly low sweep. So I was expecting that anyhow we should come for this guy. But you see, that single, if you have 3 things that you want to look out for, you take, or let me say 5 things you want to look out before you take a trade, and then one thing, just one thing spoils out of these 5, I always advise you stay away. I mean, it depends on how you do it. But just one thing is enough to stop me from taking a trade. And you can see how that one, because I had reasons to buy. Yes, I had reasons to buy. I had reasons to buy with this expansion. I had reasons to buy with this weekly, that's previous week's sweep to come for it. So I had 2 reasons to buy and then 1 reason to sell. And I canceled my buy because of this 1 reason to sell. And then that was what has funded that drop. And you also know that monthly was sweeping at this point. Can you see? Monthly was sweeping at this point. So weekly now is just trying to align with monthly. Now, if this week closes, I didn't plan to analyze this pair, but no problem. If this week now closes in the next, that's tomorrow, closes like this. Now, can't you see that that monthly sweep that we had, weekly has now aligned to it? Can you see? Let's just imagine this candle closes like this. You see that that monthly sweep that we had, weekly has now confirmed it that we can be dropping from there. I don't know if I'm making any sense. And weekly is not only giving us an expansion, it's also giving us what? A fully bearish engulfing candle formation. So we can now go to the daily time frame, and of course you can see all of this liquidity. Price can come in for all this fair value gap, one of these areas inside here, and drop. Can you see that? So that's the way we are approaching the market. That's the way we approach the market in a very, very from a very flexible standpoint, so that we don't incur some pointless losses. All right. If you take a loss like that AUD-CHF trade, personally, if I take that kind of loss, I'm fine. It doesn't affect me no, I'm fine, totally okay. But if I take this kind of loss that I knew that, I had reason to sell and I went to buy, that one is the one that affects me. And I don't advise people to take trades when they clearly know that they are not at peace with that trade. And that's how we're able to secure ourselves from this behavior here. So what we're looking at for this guy now is upon this monthly sweep now, weekly now should be giving us what? An expansion. So we need to tomorrow to come and close probably lower than this or just the way it is, so that we can confirm this expansion. Then we can come on next week Monday and be expecting price to push in here and sell. Is that okay? So that's how we build up. That's how we build up our trade. Okay, that's how we build up our trade. It's not every day that you come and see trade. Sometimes the trade is building up. All you just have to do is to follow it up. Is that okay? All right. So that's that for AUD. Sorry, for USD CHF. All right. I just needed to point that out. So we're going to be waiting for that to confirm weekly expansion. So for now, you can come back, you can revert to this guy on Monday or Friday. At the end of Friday, we'll know if this guy should be giving us sales for the whole of next week or not. Okay. All right. So I was on Bitcoin. Sorry about that. So Bitcoin did something. Yeah. So at this point, that's given us an expansion. So we need price to come here and give us something to work with. Okay. So at this point, I'll be looking at Bitcoin at this area. If I can get a sell, maybe on the 1R or M45, I'm going to be interested in selling it all the way to this low. If I don't get an alignment at this point, I'm going to stay away. Is that okay? If I don't get an alignment to sell, I'm not going to trade it. Okay. There are so many reasons. There are so many times where we have had them. I think something happened like that on Euro CHF. Sorry, it's just the way it's hitting me. So I have to just talk about it. So we're looking at buying at this place. We're looking at buying, but I said I'm not going to buy here. Sorry, well, I think we're below here, somewhere around here. I've forgotten the exact point, whether it is fair value gap. So we said that price has to sweep here, which it did. You can see even started to reject with this candle. But H4, H4 was supposed to give us this. And then we now start buying from here. Is it not? But H4 did not do any of that. Now imagine you just went to take a buy. Imagine you just went to take a buy. You'd have increased your loss from that one AUD CHF trade to 2 losses, to 3. If you took this one, that USD card, that USD CHF, you have taken so many losses. Can you see? This is why alignment is very important. So as this one did not work now, I said something that same yesterday, that we're going to turn our focus to this guy. If this guy fails, we'll turn our focus to this guy. Why? Because this place is what is a key level. See the way price was playing with this place so many times. So price has come back to this place. Now, what do you see price doing here? Let me ask, what is price doing here? Feel free to unmute your mic and answer, please. What is price currently doing at this point now? Anybody that is following us? Anybody that is following us? What is price currently at this point now?
There is a sweep going on there.
Yeah, thank you very much. So he's trying to do the previous day low sweep, okay? Looking at this guy. But for now, that's still not enough. We still need more from H4. And also giving that the weekly is doing this. So we're going to be very, very cautious. That's why I'm not going to be trading this guy today. Is that okay? I'll not trade this guy today because of this weekly information. So that buy that I'm trying to get from there, I'm going to hold off from that buy. So when it is clear, you need the weekly, the daily to give you information, to give you clear information so that your 4 hours, your H4 can now confirm it. If all of these time frames are giving you a bullish bias, okay, then you can feel free to buy. But when they're giving you a bearish, or when we say this one is giving you bullish, this one is giving you bearish, that there's a conflict of interest there. So you just have to wait for it to be better so that you can enter your trades. Is that okay? So I'm not doing anything for this guy today, right? Even though the daily is doing that, it's looking very good. The fact that the weekly has already done this is a sign that price may come here. So I'm going to not take that. All right, I'm not interested in that buy for now. All right, okay. So where were we? Where this? So that's that. So we want alignment at this point. If you can align here, then we're going to trade. So let's see CAD CHF. CAD CHF has done something very interesting. So please go ahead and mute your mic, please. Mute your mic. Thank you. So coming from this
Yes, can you mute everybody? Somebody's
All right. So coming from this order block on the daily, on card CHL, this is a daily order block. Very nice. Price has acted nicely to that point. So yeah, that yesterday, price did the morning session, price did not expand yet. I was not looking at this guy yet. See, this expansion came around 7, 8, 9, around 11, if I'm not mistaken. So what am I looking at now? I want price to trade back into this guy and then we can sell. Look at it on the line chart. This was after touching this order block. Price did this. Price did this. Can you see? So this is an area that I'm looking for price to react to before we drop. Is that okay? So that's what I'm looking at for card CHF. So if it comes back today, I'm going to look for a trade around there. But if it doesn't, then we know that there's nothing there for. Let's see the weekly. Okay. This is even nicer on the weekly time frame. The weekly is sweeping the previous week's high. Can you see this, please? Weekly is sweeping the previous week's high. So there is every tendency that this guy should come for here. All right. So let's see the daily. Okay, the daily is not giving us an expansion, but daily is doing something that's coming from the past. All right. So that's why I had license to check H4. Because I can check H4 now. This is where we're looking at for price to come back to give us something to confirm that it wants to trade, because this is like heads and shoulders that's here. Now you see, this is the left shoulder, this is the head, this is the right shoulder. So price may want to still come and do something in there before dropping. So that's why I said let's be very, very vigilant with the way we approach this area, because this is an area that price may likely look to drop from. Is that okay? All right. So that's just the direction maybe for next week. If it does happen this week, we can look at it for the coming weeks. Let's see EA. EA is interesting today. There's this other block I drew. Another block I drew a while back. Let me see the monthly. Give me a second, please. Okay. Monthly is sweeping the previous monthly. Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. All right. Let's come back. So on the daily time frame. Hello, please, can you hear me? Am I clear?
Yes, sir, you're audible. I can hear you.
Please, I want feedback. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, sir, you're clear.
Okay. Thank you. Because my network was acting up. All right. On the daily, what do you see here? This is another block on the daily time frame, right? Then you can see how price swept this guy here. You can use here as a sweep. You can use, see there's a sweep there. Then all of this was just liquidity build-up. All this price touching all these guys. It was just liquidity just above, this inducement just above our point of interest. So we're interested in this other block. Now, what has price done? Yesterday, price did a very big push, like an expansion into our area. So at that point, I was not interested in anything buy. But today has done something significant by doing this. Can you see? Today has done something very significant by coming to expand at this point. Is that okay? So you see, weekly is also doing something here. Weekly is also sweeping the previous week's low. Daily is now trying to expand. So this is where we are. This is where we are. Expand, but we are not taking the bias from daily. If we were taking our bias from daily, we're not taking our bias from the daily, weekly. I think this is a weekly sweep here. The daily needs to expand for us. We are going from the weekly to the daily and then to the H4. Is that okay? So now on the daily, we are expanding on the daily, as you can see, but they're not yet finished for me. So let's see how this candle closes today. If this candle should close bullish like this on the daily time frame to confirm that expansion, we can now enter H4. All we just need to expect is for price to trade back into these areas and give us a buy. So around these areas, anywhere along this area, anywhere around this area, we're going to be expecting a buy. Okay, but that information is pending that we close here, that we close bullish at this point. If we close bullish at this point, then we can expect what? We can expect price to do what? To come into any of these areas and buy. Is that okay, please? So if you don't want to take this, let me see the whole SL. It's quite a big SL. Yeah. So what we can do now is we can refine. When price comes here, we can now do what? We can now refine. Let's get a better entry at this area so that we can have a better stop loss placement, something that is not too big. But this guy is about 80 pips, 70 to 80 pips. So here we can now get a better reward to risk ratio, and then we trade. Okay. So our buying Euro AUD is pending this. That's today. Today has to close like this so that we know that weekly gave us the sweep, daily is giving us the expansion, and then 4 hours will be giving us an entry. Is that okay? So that's how we do it. It should not be difficult, please. Don't need to overcomplicate things. Don't need to overcomplicate it. Just follow the sequence. Okay. Do the same boring sequence every day. That is what keeps you long in the market. All right. So that's Euro AUD. What's happening on okay? Let me see the higher time frame first to ensure that we are not, being invalidated. You're invalidated from the sky. You are trying to come from the ground. No problem. All right. So we have this key level that I've already marked out. So see the way price broke that place. I'm interested when price comes here. So, but moving forward, today is doing something. Today is sweeping yesterday's candle. So shouldn't it come for here? That's very, very possible. Let's see H4. You see, before the class, this guy was expanding. You see why I always wait. You see why I always wait for these candles to close before the class. Sorry, this is not a class. This is a live session. Before this session, this guy was expanding like this. Can you see? The guy was expanding, but few moments in, what has happened? It has started to retrace back down. So we are going to be staying away for now, since we are not getting an expansion on this guy. Okay, H4 should be giving us an expansion, but it has failed to expand. Is that okay? So we are going to sit out of this one now. At the time I was coming in, it was looking very nice. But you see, the candle has lost its strength. So unless it goes back up to close before we look for a buy, else we stay away. Okay? Else we stay away. So that's it. And mind you, Euro JPY is at all-time highs. See, since its inception, it's literally at all-time highs. So we don't have like a high or a drawn liquidity to target. That's why Mr. Jerry told us something yesterday. In these kind of situations, what you do is, you know how we draw our Fib from, you know how we draw our Fibonacci tool from the low to the high of a swing, so that we can expect, we can know where to get our retracement from and continue. This time around, if you want to get direction, maybe when you're at all-time high, or you don't have a place to target, what you do is invert the Fib, drop from the high to the low, and now extend it. So you see, all these areas now are possible zones that Euro JPY can still be trading to. Okay, those are the psychological zones, that are the Fib zones that this guy can still be making headway to. This is what we're using for gold. Remember when gold was at all-time highs? We're using it on this live session. Remember when gold was at all-time highs, and then we're trying to get, okay, where can we buy gold to? We're using this Fib. These are like a how they call this? Fib regions. Okay, these Fib regions are what we're using to forecast new targets coming from a market that does not have any information high up there, which since it's at all-time high. So we're using Fib to get new directions, to get new targets. So that's what we're going to use here. If we can break, if we can break and close, we can be using those Fib targets as our TPs as we go. All right, so we're learning a lot on these sessions. We're learning a lot from these sessions. So that's that. EU is doing something. EU is trying to buy. I'm interested in that EU buy. I'm interested in that. Let me see the okay, monthly. See, Remember, since we said that monthly low was swept here, you should be buying till this guy. So you see that we have been buying ever since then. So what we just need is entry. So like I said yesterday, when we come to the market, you first of all get your direction and then mark out your target. These two should not take you 5 minutes or 2 minutes to do. It shouldn't even take you 2 minutes. So when you mark out your direction, target, all you just have to be looking for is entries to be driving till you get to your target. Okay. So on the daily now, daily is doing something nice. Yesterday expanded. See, yesterday gave us this big expansion. So this is nice. So what am I expecting for EU to do now? EU should come, let's say today gives us this inducement. All right. EU can now do what? Come sweep this inducement, tap into these areas, and then we can do what? Can look for a buy all the way till this drawn liquidity. Is that okay? This drawn liquidity price should come here. Okay. I expect price to trade to this monthly high. I expect price to trade to this monthly high. So we just need what? We just need price to come. You see, this is also the most recent expansion. Is it not? Good. So we can expect price to come inside here, give us something maybe on the H1, and then we can buy up the way till this point. Is that okay? So that's my view. I'm just giving us direction so that when price comes back there, we know that we already settled to look for a buy. Same thing with NZD USD. These guys are looking very, very, very bullish. Since they started moving from this other block that is down here. This was the first expansion that happened on NZD USD. Price did not come back. This one, price didn't come back. But this one, price came back. Can you see? Price came back to touch it. Now, there's another expansion that is playing out here. This place here. Can you see? Look at the line chart. It's clean on the line chart here. Can you see this high? See the price danced and then it has come back to do what? It has come back to take. This is an area that price can buy from. Is that okay? You cannot still be, being very rigid on all these lower prices. It can come back there, but we don't know when it will come back there. But since price is very close to this recent one I just drew, there is every tendency that price can trade there. Now, what did yesterday do? If you can see, yesterday did a fully bullish engulfing candle situation here. Can you see? This candle was fully engulfed by this next one. Is that okay? So I'm interested. Abi, let's see the H4. So the H4 is giving us like a QMR situation. What's a QMR situation? Sweep and break. Look at the line chart. We had a sweep here. We had a break. This is your inducement. So if you want to call it the inverse heads and shoulders, that's nice. This is the left shoulder. This is the head. This is the right shoulder. So if I'm to draw my line from here, let's see what it looks like on there. Okay. So this is where I can expect NZD USD to come back to trade from. This is where I can expect NZD USD to come back to trade from. SL will be below here for about 20-something pips. And then we can expect a buy from here. Is that okay? This is where I can expect NZD USD to give us a new push. Okay. So that's my view. I like how price was able to sweep this low, come back to take the high. All right. So all of these lows, let me see what's 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour. Let me see. Okay, see now. This was a sweep here and a break, an inducement. Price came for that inducement and bought. So it's doing the same thing again. It's sweeping it again, breaking here and here, and this is now the inducement. So price can come for the inducement and do the same thing again that it did here. This buy that happened here is coming from the same thing. So price did, let me clear the chart, sorry. Price did a sweep, right? And then a break like this, okay? Came back for the inducement and bought. So it's doing the same thing again. Break here. So this can now be our inducement. That's why I'm saying price can very likely come here and buy on NZD USD. Is that okay? So now let's check. Is there any information from the higher time frame that may affect that buy? Let me see. Okay, weekly is not sweeping, daily is not sweeping. All right. So let's see this one. This one looks interesting. Let's see this one. This one looks interesting. This NZD USD looks interesting from here. So, like I said, if you take this trade from here, this high is your TP1. At this point, if you like for your profit, you can hold your trade. You can take your profit. If you still want to hold, you do what? you can secure partials and break even, or you just do break even. Put your stop loss at entry so that even if price decides to, start doing its funny movement, you know that you have already secured your trade. Like no more losing a penny on that trade. So that's how we approach it. Is that okay? So this is what I'm looking at for NZD/USD. And then all these other ones are long-term areas. Maybe later on, some few weeks later or a few days later, whatever, we can come for these other guys. But for now, the most recent information is dwelling here. So we can look to trade with that information. Okay. All right. USD card. Okay, I've already done USD card. Have I done gold? I've done gold, right? Have I done gold?
No.
I've not done gold. That will making it 2 days in a row. I've forgotten to do gold. I'll do gold right away.
Yes, yesterday
This guy is giving me double information. That's why I want to sit out from it for now. I'm having information to sell, also having information to buy. So you know what happens in those situations, right? Market to start consolidating. See, we have something like a sweep here. You should come for here. I'm also having on the daily time frame now. I'm also having a how do you call it, a sweep that happened here. Price expanded, so we should be buying from here. So I'm having a reason to sell from here, having a reason to buy from here. So I'll just wait for the market to give me, a clearer direction. When I have a sweep, when I have a sell coming down, also have a buy coming up. When two elephants fight like that, is we that will suffer. So let's just wait for it to give the direction, either to the upside or to the downside. Then we'll know what to do on USDJPY. So I'm not giving any call or even direction for this guy. I've given my reasons why. Because you are sweeping here to sell down here. At the same time, we're also sweeping this floor, this low here, this candle low. Let me edit it. See this guy. Also sweeping this guy to come up. So this is conflicting information for me. So I just have to sit out. All right. So I'll do gold. Then gold is looking interesting. Let me see. This gold, I'm still looking at bearish. They're looking at gold being bearish, but I mean, gold can do whatever it wants to do. So on the weekly, we had this. On the daily we had daily had a sweep here, and it has gotten to TP. That daily sweep that we're talking about that day has gotten to the low. Okay, this is the point that price came back to take us out of our trades that we're taking a sell that day. That's fine, no problem. Now we had I have another interesting information here. Daily is sweeping the previous day high. There's today's candle, so we should come for the low, is it not? So let's see what happened now. The thing is that on the H4, there isn't a clear information. But if you remember, we already have a fair value gap that and this other block rather, that we're drawing. This was a place from the past that we're expecting gold to react to, or from rather. This was a sweep here. This was a sweep at this point, and then this is a break at this point. So we're having a sweep and then a break. This is not like inducement. All of this is like inducement. So what has price done now? Price has traded back, covered all this fair value gap, and has now tapped the other block. And what did he do upon tapping the other block? He gave a new expansion on the 1 hour, 2 hours time frame. This is like an alignment. So this sell, this sell is looking good, but I'm not going to call this sell because there's some key level here that price is reacting off from, coming back up. So I don't want you to be caught, in both sides of the market. So if you're going to be taking this trade, that it's a risk. It's like how do I call it? It's a risky trade, but it still looks very nice because of where price is coming back from. So this low will be your TP1 or 2R. Is that okay? So this is what gold is doing. Because coming to the daily, daily did not do previous day low sweep to buy. Weekly did not. If weekly took this low, see this low. If weekly at least swept this low, I'd have said, no need to sell again. We are coming for this high. But weekly did not do that. Okay, let me see monthly. Monthly is still taking the previous month high. So we have not had any buy momentum on the higher time frame because the lower time frame have, people have been catching all these buys. Very good. But for now, this area is looking interesting for a continuation of those cells. Okay, this area is looking interesting for a continuation of those cells. So if you're going to be tapping in, ensure that it's something that you are okay with putting on the line. See, this is also a fully bearish engulfing candle formation. Can you see that? So now this is like, if gold should mess with this place, then we know that gold maybe has turned bullish. Is that okay? Because this is like the last zone. This is like the area that I'm looking at that will be the last zone for gold to tell us, okay, those cells I was trying to sell is not strong. It was like a trap. Then I wanted to buy. Sorry for eating your money. Then this will be the zone that gold will take them under that, yes, we are going to turn back to bullish. But this is the last place I'm looking at gold selling from. If this place does not hold, then I might switch my bias. Is that okay? So for now, that's it. So if you are okay with taking this risky sell, no problem, you can go ahead. There's a fair value gap. There's a fair value gap. There is everything. So this guy is looking good. So I'm interested in that. So I'll see what this guy has for me today. So if you're tapping in, all the best. All right. Lastly, I have two messages on the chat. CAD JPY and UGBP. Let me just rush through those ones, please, before we go. I cannot do synthetics today because time is not on our hands. CAD JPY. CAD JPY is bullish, but let me see. Okay, we are not yet coming to all this sell. Okay, so we are still bullish, right? Let's see. So this is where I was looking for price to come. Price is not yet there. So let's see H4 for the recent expansion. Okay, we are here now, right? We are here. This is the most recent expansion. Let me see if there's a daily information that may spoil it, or weekly. Okay, no, there isn't. All right. So 4 hours is here. This is the most recent expansion. So let's see what the H1 is doing at this point. Inside of this zone, H1 is supposed to give us an expansion now. But see, there's no expansion. There's no fully bullish engulfing candle formation. I don't want to force it. So, but it's bullish. This guy is still looking very bullish. So if you get, oh, okay, there is a fully bullish engulfing here. Now this is interesting. This guy may buy. This guy may buy today. I think that's a lower schedule. This guy may buy today. Okay. What will happen is wait for this candle to close. This candle that is sweeping the high like this. Wait for it to close. Don't be in a hurry. So what I'm even going to advise you, I'm going to advise you to do on this, wait for an expansion, then join the re-entry. Okay, so that you don't get caught up. Wait for the reaction, then join the re-entry. All right, all of this looks like trend come back and cover. You see, this general liquidity. So I'm expecting price to come for this high. Okay, all right, that's that. Wait for a new expansion, then you join, please. Lastly, Euro GBP. Okay, no, it's not. This guy bought to analyze this guy and went to sleep. Analyze this place and went to sleep yesterday. This is crazy, but I'm not on this trade. I analyzed it yesterday night just before I slept, and then look at the buy. That's crazy. That's nice. All right, it's not my watch list, but it's good. Now, weekly is doing something. Weekly is doing something. Let me see if there's any reason that may affect mine. Okay. So we're inside this guy. Weekly is doing a previous week sweep. Daily did a previous day low sweep here. So it was supposed to come for this high. That's why I was looking at that place I drew. So you see that it has come for this place successfully. Is that okay? So I think we may, if today should close bullish like this, today should close bullish like this, we can expect this guy becomes a key level. Can you see? Price can just do this, tap inside of the end of these areas and continue bullish. Is that okay? So this guy is looking good for buys, please. This guy is looking good for buys. There's something here. Let me stress us a little bit, but overall, upon sweeping the previous week low, we should be trading up to the previous week's high. Is that okay? So maybe along the line, you may encounter some opposing key levels like this guy that may drive some sell down. If today should close bullish like this, then there's a high chance we're going to continue buying. Is that okay? All right. So that's that. So this buy is looking good. It's looking good. It's looking good. Ah, look at this guy. I just drew this area. Okay, no problem. I don't traded this guy in a while. Since this guy gave me nice money around this area. Do you see these buys? I think I called this buy for us here now. This buy that happened here. We made money from Euro GBP from this move. So since then, it was not really on my watch list again. But if it's looking like he wants to buy, call my attention. No. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. I hope we had a great time together, because I did. So I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a good day and